Today's redstone video is going to be really difficult because I want to try my best to create what I like to call the battle cube. Now this is the most powerful PvP defense station I can create within a 7x7x7 area. Oh, even saying that, it sounds really tough. And it hasn't exactly got off to the best of starts because I wanted to create some form of entrance that requires an item to allow it to open, but redstone wise, I mean, it's taken up a fair amount of the real estate here. We don't actually have much space to move around anymore. Oh, and of course I should mention that it also doesn't work at this point in time, that's an added bonus. Thankfully, I think I might have got it working. So if we just leave all of that in place, as you can see, that is the entrance mechanism. And if we throw a piece of yellow wool onto this piece of soul sand here, that should open up our trapdoor. So now we can get inside, we can retrieve our piece of yellow wool, and that will close up the trapdoor so no one else can actually get in. Doesn't leave me much room to move around, but we'll ignore that for the time being, because if I hit this button right here, oh yeah, that should have launched us out, and it does. So with that now slightly rewired so that I can actually move around, I'd say that's all done. So I've moved on to the next circuit, which is going to be our lava dispensers up at the top right here. Now I need to think of some glamorous way to do this that doesn't take up much space. This is really tough. But actually, in a sort of counterintuitive move, if I compact this thing down and actually shrink it to 5x5, then I can make the redstone a lot simpler, because I can just put observers in between these dispensers here, so those two observers power all three of these dispensers, and they can be activated using these pistons, because that piston extending updates this observer, which powers this block, and then this block appearing here also updates this observer, which also powers this block. Oh! How's that happened? I guess that's back to the drawing board then. But it was a very small drawing board because it was a very simple fix, so now in theory it should be working. Right, well that's missing its lava, so that's that problem solved to start off with. But why has this one not worked? That should have worked. And it does! Now why didn't it work just a couple seconds ago? Oh, that's bizarre. And as with all bizarre things in Minecraft, I imagine this probably has something to do with buds, and it looks like that is probably the case. Nice, that is a really cool pattern. Oh, that is awesome. Anyway, let's keep the ball rolling on this one. I think next up we need to have some form of offensive weapon. So, I mean, what does one do here? I mean, we could have them lined up like that. So we have them going across like this, and then we have some way to power these bottom dispensers, but I also kind of want to have something in the corners, but I have no idea what to do there. This seems like it would be the way to go, but I mean, okay, so it all fits in, so we'd have one this way, and one this way, and we could do it. But how do we toggle it? We don't just want them on all the time, that's the thing. This seems like the correct answer, but it's going to cause a bit of an issue here. So what we've got is, instead of toggling off the redstone clocks, we basically just make it so that the redstone clocks just kind of stop working by powering all of the dispensers with a redstone torch. But here it's not going to work because that lever is going to power this redstone. Okay, that's going to have to be an immovable object, but we're on the right track here, and then I guess we can just update the piston using another piston. Now what's hilarious is, with this setup, it definitely feels like you're inside some kind of military unit, because when you're standing in this area, you just have these flashing, beeping red lights at you. But it does just about function. Now, I think relying on just dispensed arrows, in fact we actually have to fill these things up with arrows, but relying on just dispensed arrows and fire charges and things like that probably isn't quite going to be good enough to kill off the players, because of course that only shoots in these directions. So we need something in the corners, and I think I've thought of something. What I'm going to do is I'm actually going to create a mob turret. So these are little turrets which are going to pop up, and they will expose either a blaze or a skeleton. I personally am siding on blaze here. I have to say, I'm taking great pride in the fact that everything is knitting together just so beautifully, because look, that blaze is just sat there, and then these little blocks, they can pop up. That will close the blaze away. So that means that this guy isn't going to be able to attack us. He might actually be able to see through there, so I think we should probably place in a block for good measure, just so that we don't end up getting blasted by fireballs. But when we flick this lever, that will reveal our blaze, and there's going to be one of those on each of the 4 corners. This thing is going to be lethal. Oh no. It's not going to fit on that side. Thankfully, that's not really going to be too much of an issue. So we've got the levers for the top lava on each of these corners right here, and then I guess on each one of these corners we can have the blaze, and I suppose the blaze can target the player pretty much anywhere, really. I mean, we don't need one on each of the corners for it to be effective kind of on all corners, so it's okay. But with that being said, it does look like I can just about pull this off by dropping one side slightly further down. So we now have these kind of mismatched sides. This one is going to be skeleton and this one is going to be blaze. You know what? I actually think that's pretty cool. The only thing is that the lever is activated through the skeleton's head. I'm sure that will be okay. No, let's be totally honest, that's not okay. So I've dropped it down one block further, I've replaced the blocks with slabs, and I'm assuming this means that the little dude can still shoot us. Yep, yeah, it works, it works. How? No! He didn't even shoot me off the edge. What on earth has happened here? Oh, good grief. Turns out I think the blaze was a little bit too hardcore for our system. It actually set fire to things, which obviously sets off observers, and then lava happened. So I've replaced all of our blaze with the slightly less scary skeletons. They're now manning all 4 of the corners. So I guess we still have a little gap down at the bottom here, and it is tiny. We literally have this little window to work with, and this redstone torch could be problematic. But I think we can do something. And while I think of that something, I think I'm also going to fill in all of these dispensers, because I keep forgetting to do it. Yeah, it's all done. And I still don't know what to do. What does one do with... I mean, it is a small amount of space. I don't even know if I can fit anything in here. I've thought of something. So down at the bottom here, we have got dispensers with a little button on them. And I guess this could activate either TNT. We could have zombie spawners. I mean, if this is meant to be a creative build, then of course we could have zombie spawn eggs. But that functions quite nicely. I have had to rewire these pistons, but it looks like... yeah, that is all functioning just fine. The only thing is this. This regular piston is causing me some grief. Thankfully though, that is now all fixed up, and this build should all be functioning. So I'm going to replace the iron trapdoor, and then we can take a look through what we've managed to construct here. Alright, here goes. First off, you need yellow wool to get into this thing. Throw any other item around on the soul sand and you're not going to gain access, but if you throw down the yellow wool, then that will drop you down into this circuit. And then if we remove our yellow wool, that will actually get us down into the battle zone. Now, there are a lot of levers that we can mess around with here. So let's start off with the obvious ones, and they're kind of tricky to get to, but you have to bounce up and down like this, and that will dispense all of the lava. So let's do that on the other side. And then we can take a look. Gigantic, very dangerous waffle, I think, is the only way that I could describe this thing. It looks absolutely glorious. Anyway, let's get back inside, remove the lava, and start messing with some of the other system. Next, we have got our fire charge dispensers, and also arrow dispensers, which sound like they're working pretty well. That's so satisfying. Okay, let's get back inside and let's switch off all of these things. So that is done quite simply by flicking all of these levers here, and that should just about do the trick. Okay, then the next thing that we have is our skeleton our little skeleton turrets. So if we actually push up all of these blocks, then this will actually turn off all of the skeleton turrets. So at this point in time, they are deactivated. They're not going to be shooting anyone. The skeletons are completely hidden away. But if we pop back inside and flick the levers so that it reveals the skeletons, then they will be armed and dangerous and ready to kill any players that come past this thing. Pretty cool. And of course, this wouldn't be a killer cube without some form of TNT. So when we hit these buttons, that drops out TNT on each one of the sides. It's going to kill anyone who's down below. And of course, once we're done with this thing, all we have to do is hit this button right here, and that will... And of course, once we're done with this thing, all we have to do is hit this button right here, and that will launch us out of the mechanism, and we can run on and perhaps attack the player with a sword or something like that. Whatever happens, this is a pretty sweet and very compact little setup right here. I'm quite proud of this 7x7x7 death machine. But of course, as per usual, I'm very interested to see what you guys come up with. So go ahead and try and recreate your own 7x7x7 death cubes. I'm excited to check them out. But anyway, I hope that you enjoyed this video. If you did, please sure to that like button. And if you really loved it, then make sure to subscribe. But thanks for watching, guys. This has been Mumbo, and I'm out. I'll see you later. Oh, and filming channel stuff, link will be on the end screen. You know what to do.